Three biggest takeaways.
Let's go.
Starting pitching still stinks.
Okay.
Offense, inconsistent, but overall, still good. I'm tired of hearing about the 19 straight games. You're major league players. You fly private. You stay at the Four Seasons. Shut up with that.
Oh, there he is.
And how about just the road trip?
Kevin Slayton over here.
We'll focus on yesterday, but you go to Ohio, the greatest state in the union,
in the world,
but the worst baseball teams in the league, and you don't even have a winning road trip.
As I said, they were playing really good teams. That lineup,
Really good teams.
That lineup, that Cincinnati lineup, then that Guardian lineup. It was like there's clearly a regression. Now you can say, look, they're professional athletes. It's 19 and 19. I get it. I don't think it's an excuse, but Ollie was resting guys. I mean, Goldschmidt had DH 3 times trying to get him off his feet. You know what my takeaway is? It's time for Jordan Walker to come back.
3 articles in the paper about him today.
That?
3 articles, yep.
So I did a hit in the game about it, what John Mozeliak said about it, because ultimately it's his decision. He said, look, we sent him down to do certain things. He's done them, and the reports are good. We just want to make sure that there's a little consistency what he's doing. Meantime, I saw on Twitter, Jordan Walker said, hey, you know what? Trying to get the ball in the air kind of messed up my swing, so I'm not going to worry about it as much. Look, he went there to get some things done. All I know is he's hitting .353 with a couple homers over his last 9 games at AAA. Bring him back, especially with Dylan Carlson still having the ankle. You know, like I think you probably need something. Shake it up. A little bit.
Taylor Swift.
You're not wrong, but again, bad stretch offensively. Overall, I think they're about 6th or 7th in both runs and OPS. They have a positive run differential, even though they're in last place. I understand they had those big 18, 16, 10-run games when they had that nice 2-week stretch. But to me, the soft contact Cardinals, I'm going to make a T-shirt because it doesn't matter.
I know.
To quote The Rock, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who the pitcher is. All 5 of them, every time are victims of soft contact. Okay? 11 hits, 4 of them were soft contact. Now, let's never bring up the fact that you give up 100-mile-an-hour rockets that are out.
Nah.
Let's not focus on any of those. The soft contact Cardinals, every post game.
Get a T-shirt
And now
made.
it's become a thing because people bring it up on Twitter. They cite me in articles.
Yes.
They cite me in post games.
Yes, they do.
Now I'm going to be soft contact guy.
Wait,
You are.
Caesar's writing articles about you now?
No, I'm saying people that listen to the
not.
show, that enjoy the show, and I think they enjoy the soft contact narrative.
Oh, yeah,
They
they do.
now, anytime a Cardinals player says that, which they do every start, Bally's posts it, and then everybody quote tweets me in every single post.
There you go.
Wait, do they?
Yes.
Stirring it up.
I hadn't noticed that, but I will say that I mean, it's okay to talk about soft contact, but mixed in with the soft contact, outside of the 100-mile-an-hour rockets that are outs, there's also usually a 105-mile-an-hour rocket that went for a double.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all soft contact.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, you got to be better. The rotation, I think, has stabilized to an extent. I don't think they're at the point where anyone's comfortable yet. I do think the biggest thing is the offense, with as good as the numbers are, can be shut down by run-of-the-mill pitchers. That's, to me, surprising.
Yeah.
Like, I knew there were going to be some issues with the rotation. Like I said, I think it's a tick better now where you're not as uncomfortable with it. I mean, Flaherty's pitching well. I think Michaelis is pitching really well. You have 2 or 3 guys. Montgomery can be better, but he's had some ups and downs. Not good overall, but you have 3 guys. 2 of them are pitching really well right now, which is better when no one was. I'm just saying it's stabilized to a certain extent. But the offense being shut down by guys that you don't expect to be able to shut them down, to me, that's curious. That's, to me, the strangest thing what's going on. We knew there was going to be some bumps in the road with the starting rotation.
You want to hear from Waino? People are texting, and they want to hear Waino's soundbite yesterday.
All right, we'll listen to the first 2 questions he was asked.
I mean, my stuff's okay. Location's okay. Nothing's great. Everything's kind of okay. But, you know, I'm in one of those funks right now where ball's put in player hits, you know. So baseball's a crazy game like that. It goes in stages. You got to keep executing, making pitches, and usually that turnaround.
Do you feel like you worked around the traffic as well as you would like to? I mean, early on, obviously, they put guys on the first. You're able to get out of that.
Yeah, the two spot really hurt my feelings. I just with Salvi on first, there wasn't a spot in my mind where he was going to score from first right there, and that's the second game in a row where I've given up three guys from first have scored on me. So got to limit those extra base hits. I made a bad pitch to the guy over there, and he hit at the cap. So they didn't hit many balls hard. They hit a couple balls hard off me and placed a few more, in the right spots. But they had a good approach today and got some balls in there.
Not many hard hit balls off.
So here's the other thing I asked him about, because you hear Ollie talk about Waino. He didn't have like the normal spring training because of the WBC. Then he's hurt, and he's still. So I asked, is it still? This is his fifth start. Is it still part of the process? And he kind of talked around it. Like, is it a process to get back to where you are? Because he's throwing a lot of pitches now. It seems like he should be snapped back from a different kind of spring training.
I did see your interview there. I enjoyed it. And I thought it was interesting that essentially what we had kind of all talked about before, how nobody really wanted their starting pitchers specifically to go to the WBC. I think most people didn't care about position players. Relievers, it's kind of more, all right, you just go, you throw every other day, whatever it is in spring. But I thought it was interesting that Ali essentially admitted that the WBC kind of wrecked the first month or so of both Waino and Michaelis.
Yeah,
it did.
And Michaelis, if you could say, Michaelis, it clearly impacted his early season because he's been getting better and better and better every single start, where right now he's as good as he's been as a Cardinal. He's been pitching really, really well. He goes today, by the way. But that Royals team,
they're loaded.
It's hard to and then you
Vinny
also
Vinny Pasquantino. Vinny Pasquantino.
You know who he reminds me of? Do you remember a player named Dan Pasqua?
Oh yeah.
That the Yankees
Back in the
had?
day.
Yeah. Same guy, like kind of a big guy that's gonna crush the ball a little bit. Same guy, and it's Pasquantino. It's almost Dan. It might be Dan Pasqua using a fake name.
Get him in, 855-282-8255. Look at the tweet from the other station. That was Waino's stats from his last 11 games. The entire fan base is going to be blocked because of the replies. I didn't listen to this interview, but I should have placed a net. He mentioned soft contact. Dude should have retired last year and got the stink of his ripe diaper out of the locker room. Sharon, she ain't playing around.
Ripe
She ain't
diaper.
playing around. No, they did. If you do pull up Waino's last 11 starts, they're all pretty similar. You got them right there?
Well, I have the first
Kylie.
5. Obviously, his last 6, what you're mentioning, he had a really bad month to end last year in September.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the first 5 games, the only 5 games for him this season, so basically look at earned runs. 3, 5, 2, 4, 4. Hits allowed, 9, 8, 5, 7, 8. So it hasn't been good. There really hasn't been a strong, I guess you could say, the game against the Dodgers goes 5 2/3, 2 earned runs. That's a solid game. Other than that, it has not been good
It ain't
whatsoever.
It's kind of basically been the same kind of start every time, right? Where he's pitching around traffic and, okay, he doesn't give up like the 8th spot in the 3rd, but it's not good. And it's weird, though, that you would think with this offense, some of those will be – he was, 2-0 going into it. But the Cardinals should win some of those games.
Yeah.
Like when he gives up a few runs.
I agree.
Because their offense should be better than it is. To me, that's the most amazing thing of all. And just so you know, it's not just, the I-70 series. It's the Goldberg Cup. People don't realize that because Joel Goldberg had worked in St. Louis and Kansas City. They now, like the Governor's Cup where the Chiefs used to play the Rams,
Sure.
they called this the Goldberg Cup. And so there's a lot of bragging rights.
A lot of bragging
That's
rights.
why the Royals
This is
play
KC
so well.
team, man. Jimbo. There's a guy in Memphis hitting .310 with a .426 OBP and 15 homers. Seems to me the Cards could shuffle their lineup around and squeeze his ass into the DH for a bit.
I want it.
Gosh
Luke and
dang
Baker.
it. Let's go.
I want him. Listen,
Beefy.
Come on.
I actually said to Mo, I go, I don't ever ask for anything. This is not in my interview. I go, I just want to see Luke and Baker. Give me 5 games. I don't care if he goes over.
Smashing it.
Because this guy is a monster. It'll be fun. And he goes, well,
Get him up.
they'd have to, like,
Shuffle around
a lot of things. And there's just, that's not a spot where they need somebody. But his numbers are crying out. The problem is, when you talk to people in the organization, he don't really have a track record of having those kind of numbers outside the power numbers that he's having this year. So they're not so sure it plays at the major league level. He's 26. I think he's 7'4". I think he's 7'4", 900 pounds.
He's 26.
He's a monster.
Get him up.
I want to see it.
I want to see the monster. I like monsters. You all know that.
Bring him up. Let
Get
him
him
hit
up.
some Luke Nukes.
Yeah, man.
Just strike out every other time.
Whatever.
Hit a homer. Just trot around. Do something with the hamburger phone. Have some fun.
Yeah.
It's summer in St. Louis. It's
Don't
the
write
boys of
5
summer.
articles.
It's the boys of summer are back.
5 articles about the hamburger phone if you have anything to do with that.
Listen.
They'll write about it all damn day.
If Taylor Motter could be up here for 2 stretches,
Then he comes back.
we could get Luke and Baker.
What are they going to do with Wayno if he can't get turned around? Shout out to Barry Odom. Hi, I'm Andy. That's the name of the text. What are they going to do with him?
Barry Odom.
I don't know. He said, little parentheses, shout out to Barry Odom.
What's he up to?
I don't know. No idea. Why does it matter how many soft or hard hits you give up? Makes 0 sense. You gave up 16 hits to my Royals. Go Royals, Kyle. Not with the big hands. Different Kyle. We got Kyles out the wazoo.
Listen, stats can be used in a way to defend pretty much any position. If you recall, the flip side of this was Matt Carpenter, who wasn't good for a long stretch before going to the Yankees, being really good and hurting his ankle, and now he's not good with the Padres. But do you recall he was like, look, we have the analytics. I'm hitting the ball hard. They're just right at people. You can use that to defend a position, soft contact, hard contact, but results do matter.
You're right. How can Wayno say his stuff's okay? He sucks. I'm not going to say the end of that. I'm not going to do it because I'm a professional, Rashawn. I almost did it, but I'm a professional.
To be fair to Wayno,
Yeah.
his ERA is 6.15. His FIP, his fielding independent pitching, is 4.46. So he has been a victim of some bad luck. That's fair to say. But overall, it's more of the narrative of the team where your starting pitching ERA, I believe it's right under 5 now. It's about 23rd in the league. It's been bad for the whole season, for a couple months here. I know Flaherty is pitching better. Michaelis certainly has been pitching better since his rough start. But overall, the starting staff is not giving you chances to win night in, night out.
Well, first off, I don't disagree with that. But offensively, with this lineup, which suddenly shuts down for, I don't know, you would think that some of those games could be wins based on the fact that they do have a lot of power up and down the lineup. And I agree with that. I think Montgomery has given you starts that make you think he can straighten it out. Compared to where the rotation was early, right? I mean, like I think Michaelis had, an ERA of 10 after 3 starts. It does seem like it's in a better place, and the offense has come around to the point where you think they'd be winning more of these games, but they're not. They're not. And that, to me, I just can't get it.
Thanks.
And I think that, look, the Cardinal starters don't go deep. I know if you look at all of baseball, a lot of starters don't go deep. But I think one of the things, even though we chirp Ollie a lot, I think last year, one of the things he did best was keep his relievers fresh. And we even complained about it. Why aren't you using Helsley more? They didn't like to use him back-to-back. Sometimes if it was a 3-game series, he could go 2 innings in game 1. He takes the second game off. He could come back for an inning in game 3 if it's a series, a big weekend series, whatever it is. Obviously, then you get to the playoffs, game 1 happens. But so this year, I think Ollie doesn't have the opportunity to try to rest his relievers the way he did last year because every starter seemingly goes 5.
And I agree with that. And the fact that you're in such a big hole where you think you have a chance to win this game, you go all in because you got to start digging out of this hole now or it's not going to happen. So I think that also reflects the way he's had to use the bullpen. With Helsley, and I hear a lot of it too, the complaints about Helsley. Look, to me, Helsley is an elite talent. But at some point, you have to realize that he's not a guy you can overuse because his numbers reflect that. Like if you overuse him, you push him, he's not going to be the same guy. So you have to sort of accept the fact that you have a unique weapon that you can't use
Can't
in
abuse
too
it.
many different spots. Keep him fresh. What relievers that can come in and get you 3 strikeouts? The 3 guys he faces, 1, 2, 3, 3 Ks. 12 pitches sometimes.
Yeah.
Not many guys can give you that, but he might not give you back-to-back or might not be able to give you multiple innings and have the same effectiveness. You just have to use him with caution.
You got to balance him, yeah.
Because his talent level, I think, is exceedingly good to the point where, yes, we're going to have to just use him accordingly.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That makes sense. You're in a funk? Question mark? Huh. You're in an I'm effing 41 funk. Give it up, old man. You done, Wombat.
I don't get the animosity toward Waino. Yes, he's not pitched well. I can understand people's frustration. I agree. At some point, you got to say, "Look, I'm not pitching well. I think I can figure it out, and I will." Sounds a lot different than, the starts are actually pretty good, but I don't understand the animosity toward Wainwright, where you're calling him names and talking about diapers. I don't get that.
Well, first of all, on this show, we like to joke around. So Sharon has a personal vendetta against Waino because Waino blocked her on Twitter. So then Sharon started the ripe diaper narrative, which I think is funny overall. I do think, though, look, we all love Waino, great Cardinals Hall of Famer. He wants the 200 wins. We all get that. I do think, though, when you're 41, you can't always say, or we can't always think he's going to figure it out, because eventually Father Time catches up with everybody, and eventually most people get to a point where they can't figure it out.
I agree, but what I think is upsetting people is what he says instead of saying, if I'm Waino, I go, I got to be better.
That's it.
I think it's still in there, and it's up to me to get there.
I'll find it, but I gotta
think
be better.
there'd be less backlash
I agree.
than when he says what he said the other
I
day.
agree.
And don't get me wrong, this isn't criticizing him as a human being. He's a really good dude. I just think fans want to hear something a little sharper out of him.
Okay.
Guys like me who had an expiration date of 2012.
Sure.
Who's that guy?
I do think we probably, when we listened to Waino talk about Great American Ballpark being cursed, that was pretty funny. It was. Look, he had a bad outing, talks about it. Oh, Cam doesn't agree.
I didn't say a damn thing.
My soft contact thing is more, it's been the whole year. It's been all the starters. It's been Ollie. That's been a thing. It just annoys me personally. But I do think sometimes when we're talking about the burger phone a lot, when then the starters ERA is 5, but we always hear about the burger phone. Look, you're just allowing yourself when you're in last place. We all know. Look,
It's all good, baby.
I looked this up yesterday because you always do the thing where the 3 holidays. I know Claves does Flag Day, but traditionally you look at Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day. You kind of take stock of where you're at. Cardinals, 24-32. We're about a third of the way, a little over. They're on pace for about 69 or 70 wins. I don't think they're going to win.
Pretty good. Pretty dang good.
Pacoda's right, baby.
Pretty dang good.
I don't think the Cardinals are going to win 69 or 70. I think they're going to get to 500. I really do. Maybe a tick over. I truly believe that.
That'll win the Central.
It probably will.
I know.
But I do think the fan base, it's okay. It's okay to chirp when you're in last place. Everybody has a 5 ERA, and all I see and hear about is the burger phone.
There you go, Charlie Marlowe.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
And I'm a guy that I offer the benefit of the doubt. I always do.
Well,
I
first of all-
offer the benefit of the doubt.
I know you do.
Put the burger phone
He's
away.
fair.
Put the burger phone away until you're in maybe second place.
Okay, let me ask you this, because you hated the pepper grinder when they were winning.
I like what they're doing now. Bam, 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 bam.
Anything fun you guys hate. Now, the burger phone,
No, I didn't hate on Pepper Grinder.
I thought all of us did. I liked it.
Japan stole it. That was our intellectual property.
That's right.
Cultural appropriation.
They appropriated
I know.
Newt and Kiz, and
I didn't
Kiz
like
got
it.
no credit for it.
Didn't like it.
So, all right, so the burger phone, I get it. But
Burger phone.
it's not like Waino walked up post game, he's holding the burger phone. He wasn't holding it going, all right, who wants to ask me about this? He didn't. If he's asked about it, he's gonna talk about it.
There was a long segment.
It's all good.
What segment?
I don't know.
What, on Bally's?
I know what you're
I
talking
don't know.
about.
Let
Are
me
you
just say
killing
this.
Bally's now?
I would never do that. Let me just say, all that I'm saying is just win some games. Win some games. Just get back to 500. That's all we want.
That's all we want.
I don't think fans are being unreasonable.
Not all we want. We want Lukin.
I want Lukin Baker.
I want
Bring
a
back
monster.
Jordan Walker.
I want a monster. Get the monsters up here. Let's go.
I honestly think it's just bring up Walker now.
Get him up.
Right? I mean,
This outfield, Mercado.
Oh.
I'm sure Mater will be back.
Yes.
They'll play Kiz in outfield soon. Kiz will play outfield.
Listen, I just looked at something on, I guess, TikTok. Like Mater has like 4 straight games of multiple hits.
Wow.
And he hit a homer, hit a 400-some. He ain't coming back. You can't bring him back. Lukin Baker's numbers are crazy
I
better.
want monsters up here. Gosh.
Bring up the beefy boy.
Get the big boys up here. Best decision Walker has made in his young career is to tell the Cardinals front office and scouts to shove it when the ground ball BS and stick to what has gotten him this far. Hell yeah, Jaywalk. Wombat.
Now, the thing about where the Cardinals play, like the Central Division means never having to say you're sorry because you're in it. Everyone's in it because they're so bad. So Milwaukee, as I said earlier and got destroyed for it, Milwaukee doesn't hit much, but they have good pitching. Now their pitching is injured. So they're going to be treading water for a while, okay? They were a team built with starting pitching, and they're going to be treading water because some of those guys are hurt. And Pittsburgh, they also had some injuries, but they didn't have enough pitching to be sustaining the way they were playing early on anyway. So I didn't believe in them. So guess what? You could be 7-8 games under 500 in the mix in the Central. What I'm saying is it's an opportunity for the Cardinals, who have been bad so far, to get back in it right quick because they're in it now.
I agree, but let's go back to the point I think we've all made, which is I feel like we've now moved the goalpost. We've moved the goalpost because before the season, the narrative was winning the Central, getting in, first-round exit wasn't good enough. And now because of the bad first 6 weeks, now we're essentially saying it would be good.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be a great comeback if we get to that point the last, let's say, 20, 21, 22. If we get back to that point where we win a bad Central, maybe a first-round playoff exit, okay, now it's good because it was a bad start.
We turned it around.
The goalposts have moved because
They
of
moved it.
historically,
They moved it.
historically bad start by the Cardinals.
I don't think we should move our expectations. I don't. I'm serious.
No, I'm not. You can have expectations. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying, realistically, it's hard to get to where you thought they'd get to before they started the season by losing, a million games in a row.
Cam. My name's Adam. Golly gee, I sure felt like I witnessed some soft contact there today. Golly gee, I'm going to be a Bulldog next start. Golly gee, it's just unlucky again. Golly gee. Big Belly Burleson.
And they're making fun of
Burley.
Alec Burleson, too.
I like Burleson.
He's going to be on pregame.
Golly gee.
I'd like to see
Golly.
Lukin Baker play first base more than I'd like to see him
I
play
want
first
the
base.
monster up
Listen,
here.
the reason why Burleson is getting a lot of play, because he was a really good hitter at AAA, and he makes contact. Like, he can be a good hitter. I don't know if this is his landing spot where it happens, but I think that guy's a major league hitter. And the reason why we're having him on pregame is because I watched him on his cell phone checking his apartment to make sure the dog walker wasn't stealing anything. And I thought, gee, after losing badly to the Royals, let's talk about his dog. Because
More cutesy stuff.
because I would not.
To distract from the team that's in last place.
Put the
If you let
burger
me
phone in his
finish,
locker behind him.
because I know if I went back to the. By the way, Alec Burleson is the one who purchased the cheeseburger phone.
Yeah.
He bought it
he's-
off Amazon.
Yeah.
Hey, who
Because
called
he
me
was
a
told to.
babbler?
Hey, Babbler there. What's going on there? Hey, you olds. The youngs don't use Tinder anymore. It's Hinge and Bumbles these days. Figure it out. I tuned in after 3 days, and the first thing I hear is I don't want to talk sports with women. Hello, sexist. Guess I should find a new show to listen to. Sharon. We're joking.
Wait, our Sharon?
Yeah.
Sharon knows
She's
I
still
love it.
listening.
Flotus?
Oh, Hockey Bob's got some tips for you on dating. When I'm on a date, which has been a while, I tell the ladies that they should talk first. That way, when I start talking, I can't be rude for not allowing her to talk.
He just puts them on the spot and says, hey, talk.
So wait, let's
What is
let's,
this,
Let me
radio?
write that down.
let's do a recreation.
What is he saying?
Hello, Lois. I'm Hockey Bob. You talk for a while.
You talk.
That's how you started. You talk for a while.
You talk.
Lois, you're on the air.
Write that down. He knows what he's talking about. Let
No
them
one gives a
talk.
damn about the Rams.
He's on that one.
Oh, hi, Randy. What's going on, dude? How was your Memorial Day weekend there, eh?
Good, man. First time for Hooters. It was an eye-opening experience. You know what I mean?
Oh, it was your first time?
First time?
First time. Good for you.
Yeah, never
New
been
restaurant.
before, yeah.
They got good wings.
Cat-cladded women, serving. Well, they were really nice. The servers were good. Hey, let me ask you a question there, guys. Let's be serious. This team is not going to make the playoffs, okay? The Cardinals, the current, your Cardinal Nation, whatever you call them. This team is not going to make the playoffs, okay? So let's just put all this shenanigans aside. Starting pitching, they're not going to do nothing about that. Too many injuries. I feel it's just they don't know who's in outfield. I mean, so let's cut the chase and let's put this Cardinal. Let's sell this. Get some assets for next year, okay? Maybe so you could get a young pitcher, trade Carlson, trade even Nootbaar. I don't care. Trade. This team is not going to do anything. They're just too inconsistent. I mean, you can't even beat the Royals. Come on.
They're not sellers. They're not going to be sellers. Actually, Mo said that yesterday.
Okay.
If they look, they're going to try to actually they have to get pitching not only for this season, but for next season.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's a mix, but they're going to be trying to get better for this year and for next year because they have holes.
Right.
And Randy, by the way, even though we chirp, there's a very good chance they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, really?
The Central isn't good. None of those teams are going to try. I guarantee you that probably everybody will sell or quasi-sell, including the Brewers.
Yeah. Okay, so you're telling me that all these other teams are going to self-destruct because they're so bad the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs. Is that what you're saying?
I think the Cardinals. If you said, Charlie, bet right now, will the Cardinals make the playoffs or not? And I had to bet, I would say the Cardinals will make the playoffs.
So would I. And don't say these teams will self-destruct. Look at what has transpired since the start of the season. Outside the Cardinals not playing well, Pirates started very well. And now they're, 500, sub 500, right around there. I mean, they fell to earth quickly. Same thing with the Brewers. Brewers got off to a hot start, and then their starting rotation gets hurt, and they're not hitting the ball enough to overcome that. So it's not self-destruct. Right. We've already seen it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you a question there. Is this team has too many wounds, like with the O'Neill thing, and now with the catcher situation? I just don't understand. This team is. What is the? You think this team is emotionally strong enough to withstand these? Are they just too weak, or they just too? I mean, I understand what.
I'm gonna say that.
They
Get
all
rid of
cry.
He can't get it
They
out.
cry in the clubhouse.
Let me just say this. The
They don't
whole
want to play for Ollie.
the Tyler O'Neill, Ollie lost the team with Tyler O'Neill, is not true. There's nothing to it. Legitimate media members have put this out there because they're looking for ways to figure out why the Cardinals are playing bad. That has zero. I'm just telling you. It has nothing to do with Tyler O'Neill, who, by the way, has a back spasm that they're not sure when. They shut him down again.
Shut him down. Yeah.
They don't know what's going on with Tyler O'Neill. They're going to shut him down and reevaluate again because of back spasms that were supposed to be a 10-day IL thing.
Does he have a back spasm or does he have an Ollie spasm where he doesn't want to play for Ollie?
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
I think that's
Cam, can we get this babbler off the damn phone lines? He's more all over the place than Wayno when he's getting hit all around. We love Randy.
I saw King James.
You saw
LeBron?
him?
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Oh, he went after Brendan Schaefer.
Come back at me.
No, Brendan texted me. No, Brendan liked it.
King James did? LeBron?
Our guy, James.
Oh.
He called.
The guy who was always after me.
We got to find it.
Oh, no.
Brendan appreciated it. Let me find the.
It's a Ponzi
The
scheme.
tweet.
It's a Ponzi
I said
scheme.
because Brendan has a show in Colombia. He's building up his YouTube. So follow Brendan.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He does a lot of live streams.
Yeah.
And he texted me. He goes, this guy James, you follow him. He's coming after me. So I found the tweet. Here you go. Let me find it. I know this is not good radio. He said something funny. Let me see here. Okay. Here we go. Good
radio.
Sorry. Because Brendan, he tweets so much.
And so does James.
Okay. Where is it? Can you help me here?
Oh, my God.
I'm trying,
trying.
dude. He's going at
There's so many.
everybody.
I'll read a
so many
text.
tweets.
Okay,
Dude,
I'll just tell
James goes at Brandon Kiley like no other.
You don't care.
Wait, who? James goes after him?
Yeah.
So he was going after me. I kind of feel left out now.
Okay. I found it.
All right.
James, if you're listening, you were kind of mean here, dude.
Oh, no.
He's
What do you-
listening because he was texting me in the
James,
beginning
What do
of
you
the
do?
segment.
What do you say?
Okay. So here's the.
James.
I'm sorry that took a while. Here's the tweet from Brendan Schaefer. And also, it looked like Brendan was kind of humble bragging. He might have been in the green seats. He tweets his view of the stadium and says, God's country on Memorial Day. Wainwright looking for number 198, 198th win. Our guy James responds, just know your candy ass is going to defend Waino tonight on that podcast. Effing weirdo.
Oh!
He used the F word. James. Brendan's our guy.
Oh, he's a good dude,
So then
man.
Brendan used that for his advantage and said, Cardinals fans, subscribe to Be Safe Daily on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and now available on YouTube. Listeners simply can't stop raving about the show.
Watch your profanity.
He called him a candy ass, and then he said the F word.
Weirdo.
James.
Why is he a weirdo?
It's crazy. He's crazy. James is crazy. You know what he needs to do? I'm going to offer this up. I'm going to say I will meet you at the mall.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I will buy you a frappuccino.
Yes.
And so we'll walk around with our frappuccinos and we'll just browse.
Browse.
And we'll relax.
Yes.
James needs to relax. Good guy.
Great
Not
guy.
killing him. But I will buy the frappuccino and we'll just kind of walk the mall and browse, and that will make him relax.
Did he just call in?
Calm down.
How about this? So James also, he DMs me a lot. Remember we were joking a couple weeks ago about how people smell, how they would smell back in the day?
Yeah, bad.
Bad.
Because they had one suit of clothes.
He had a very funny tweet about how somebody else said, like, what do you think so-and-so, or what do you think this would smell like in 1785? It was a very funny tweet. I can't really get into it because it was vulgar, but it was funny. I was trying to find it, and then I see James. He actually just messaged me an hour ago. James says, Charlie, I love you. My favorite guy on the show, besides Cole and Seth.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
LMAO.
F8.
Wait, it's not Jim?
Well, hold on.
Oh.
But if you get on that damn show one more time and say the Cardinals got some bad teams coming up, I'm going to lose it, LMAO. This team is ass as well. I've never said that about bad teams. The Cardinals are a bad team right now.
Well, we thought they were going to beat up on some of these teams.
I think we
in
have
Ohio.
saying that they should win.
Well, they
a
should.
stretch of games.
No, they should.
So we did kind of say that.
Okay.
But it wasn't like
They have to do it.
Yeah, they got to beat these. They should honestly. They should truck these teams.
Yeah, they should, no doubt.
I want James to call in and give his top 3 worst St. Louis media members.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm
I'm
sure I'm at the top of the list.
Brendan is a parrot. Any new word or phrase on Twitter, and he starts using the word or phrase. GOAT. Got that dog in him. He seems like a little dog in a cartoon wanting to be cool. Angry old guy. Cam, make
We
sure
like
you're...
Brendan.
We like Brendan.
He's very
I do
smart.
too. He's a
He
smart
knows-
dude.
he
I
knows
work with
baseball.
him.
I always tell him one day we're all going to work for him.
Yeah.
Kat, you're in his Twitter profile picture.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, because at the winter meetings one time, we joked that it looked like a new cop show, like the old crusty veteran and the young guy.
The young gumshoe.
Yeah.
Cam, make sure you're reading my name when I text in. Also, Brendan Schaefer is a flaming liberal, worse than JJ. Big Belly Burleson. Worse than JJ.
JJ who?
Jeff.
Oh, Jeff Jones.
I don't think he's a flaming liberal. I think he's a pretty.
No, he's not.
But
he's
who
a very
cares?
reasonable person.
I don't
Who
care.
cares?
I don't care. I don't care. That was Big Belly Burleson. He wanted me to say his name. Wombat chimes in and goes, can be, was, hopefully, maybe, potential, soft contact, the simp/rights holder vernacular. Tired of it.
Good one. You got me.
They got you.
You got me speechless.
You are 1,000% wrong.
Yeah, we live drops.
Good drop.
Cat, is DeWitt as much of a pansy as he sounded like with the Slayton interview, the all-knowing expert?
No, I didn't hear that. I don't know what that interview was all about. He's a smart guy. I mean, I don't know what happened in that interview, but he's a smart guy. And his dad, you can call him DeWallet, but I don't know any owner who knows as much about his prospects and his farm system as Junior.
Yeah. Oh, boy. We're going to win a shite show Central Division again. Yay, yay. Everything is fine, simp.
Cam Jansen can tell you anything you want to know.
About?
No, I can't. About
Tornadoes?
About destruction.
Earthquakes.
and death.
Hockey.
Wait, after the disastrous start,
WNBA.
after a disastrous start, you win the Central, and you have a shot to do some other damage. Whether you do or not, open question. I get people would say no. but you win the Central, yes, people would be happy about that for the most
You're in the
part.
mix.
So all of a sudden you win the Central and you're like, I don't accept it as a fan.
That's not what I'm saying.
I'm throwing it back. No, that's what the texter said.
Well, I think they're fair to point out that the last several years, that's been the team. Win a weak Central or get a wild card, first round exit, usually getting swept. They want more.
They
Think
want
that's fair?
more.
I want more.
But that's really
Give me more.
I would understand that. So you would say we win the Central and then lose. Okay, but right now winning the Central would be a good thing. No,
Of course. And every
that's
year.
all I'm saying.
That's all
Every
you're
year.
saying.
I know I'm a simp.
That's all you're
But
saying.
the division's horrible. You can also point out the fact that the reason probably the Cardinals feel better about where they're at the last 3-4 years is because the Central's been so bad that it's pretty easy to win.
Not more, fewer.
Not more.
No. Listen, all I'm saying is if the Cardinals start playing better, maybe add a pitcher or two at the deadline, and they start playing better and they win the Central, and we're feeling like entering the playoffs, they got a shot, I think fans will come around. But do
Name me
something.
one.
Fix the team.
Oh, I think they will, and I think it's not just for this season, like I said, and you've said it too. They also have to think about next season where they still have some needs in their rotation. So I think they're going to get another arm, and I don't think it's going to be a rental for this year. I think it's going to be a guy who will be here next year as well. Because that's a need not for just now, but also for next year.
The animosity is because of things like his reaction to the media guy's misuse of the past tense verb, and he is saying he's going to prove all wrong and put his war paint on, and then his temper tantrum in the dugout after being pulled for all reasons we all know except him. And he's blocking others on Twitter, not just me. So it's becoming a pattern. That's why there's animosity.
Can I tell you
He's still
something?
listening.
I think that's fair.
Can I tell you something that the great commish told me?
What he said.
When I had done an interview, and he said, and if I said it when I called in, I apologize. But Rick Hummel was a great man, and I'm just saying it kind of, as a media guy, kind of relates to that. He said, whenever a professional athlete has not been nice to me or wasn't available, blew me off or whatever, he said, I would never hold it against him. My philosophy was I want to treat other people as the way they treat me. And he said, if you harbor things, you can't be fair because you always have an axe to grind.
That's right.
He said the key to being a good reporter, in his opinion, is never having an axe to grind. That's why you're always fair. Now, that it takes a special person to not harbor something where it could impact how you write or how you handle a certain story. Rick Hummel did it.
I think what Sharon's saying. Now, does Sharon have an axe to grind? I think
Yes.
it's fair that she does because Waino personally blocked her. But I think big picture, if you're not pitching well, if you were hurt early, you missed a bunch of starts, the season got off to a really bad start for the team, his ERA is over 6. We understand there has been some bad luck. But I think what Sharon's saying is if you do the block on Twitter, if you do the war paint comment,
yeah.
John Denton asked a very reasonable question.
Of course, man.
You know he didn't mean you're done when he said, back in the day, you always took pride of being a stopper. He didn't mean you weren't anymore.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry that he didn't use the perfect tense of a word. I think if you add all that up with the burger phone and the soft contact, all that fans want, fans love, hey, by the way, Cardinal fans love the cute squirrels, grinders,
Yeah.
salsa. What else? They love all that
Yep.
when you're winning. They don't
it is.
care about, you can have fun and grind the pepper and drop the elbows and play with the squirrels and the cats and the feral cat. What else? The salsa.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things.
The Carlos Martinez with the water.
Back spasms.
The back spasms. Ali,
Yep.
Ali, of course, lost the team. My point is, you can do that when you're winning.
Yep.
When you talk about that, when you focus on that, and you're in last place, I understand why the fans are like, get out of here with that crap.
Get outta
Win some
here."
games and then do the crap.
I will say
Welcome
this.
to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can
Yeah.
take
I
you
don't
on?
think Waino handled that well at all because Denton's a good guy. He's a solid pro, and he meant nothing. That was a bad look for Waino. But I also always, I'm hardly Rick Hummel, but I do try to put myself in the position of an athlete. Can you imagine if we're done with the show and there's 15 reporters there and of course only 3 of them are going to ask questions, and they go, "Hey, Cat,
Who's not?
how come you don't talk into the mic? Hey, Cat, how come you were wrong about Dakota Hudson?" All of a sudden you're getting hammered.
Yeah.
You might get frustrated and say something you regret.
Yeah.
That's
Make it
all.
40
You
million.
made that personal, though. See, this was supposed to be about Wainwright. You just made it about yourself.
Yeah.
It sounds
said
like
it.
you might have an axe to grind.
As I said at the beginning of that analogy, I try to put myself in the position of the professional athletes. There are times when you're after a bad start, bad performance, and all of a sudden you got 15 microphones in your face, only 3 of which are going to ask questions, people holding them. And then you might get a little frustrated. Honestly, I think that's kind of human nature.
I get that. And by the way, just so people know, since we're making it personal, I have no personal axe to grind with any of these folks, any of the players, any of the managers. If I was running a PR firm, and I'm not, and maybe I'd be bad at it, but I would tell them to stop doing a lot of these excuse making. All these comments. I really would. I think it's a bad look. I really do.
It is a bad look.
I think when you're losing, sometimes you just say, they beat us, we got to be better. Maybe it's boring, but that's how you do it. When you're in last place, your ERA is 5 as a starting staff, everybody's bad, you're inconsistent, you can just say, we got to be better. We got to be better. Until you're better, then have some fun. But the excuse making, I think, is a bad look. I really do.
And here's where we're going to agree. I think the Cardinals could have used a lot of PR this year. Like, for example, with the whole Contreras thing. Different messages coming from different all of a sudden he's going to be in right field at Wrigley. He's not.
No.
Okay, how about this? Instead of taking a guy who's going back to Wrigley, where his career started, in his first return, he's got his ankle's a little sore.
Yeah.
So we're just going to be careful. You don't have to bring up catching at all.
That's it.
Instead, you put it on a tee and put this guy in a bad situation. Now, I think Contreras handled it really
I think
well.
he did too.
But there's been a few of those things where I think a little PR guidance could have helped the Cardinals. So I agree with you.
And by the way, I've heard both Mozeliak and BW3 kind of infer that was a media-driven story, which I totally disagree with. Now, when you have a big story, does the media amplify it? 100%. That was because of your comments on that Saturday saying you're going to turn Wilson Contreras after $87.5 million, essentially, he's not catching anymore. He's going to be an outfielder. That was the message on that Saturday. The media went crazy, local and national. By the way, it wasn't just local. It was every national
everywhere.
writer and talker. It was on every podcast. Ken Rosenthal, Buster Olney, Bob Nightingale. Everybody was like, Cardinals, what the hell are you doing?
Yep.
That was not the media's fault. And it actually ticks me off when I hear, the media blew that out of proportion. No, you allowed the media to amplify that because you had terrible, terrible messaging.
Worse than that.
And you did sit him for 10 days, by the way.
Worse than that. Worse than having that. He was going to Wrigley. So there's Wilson Contreras to make him available to the Chicago media, and there's dozens of people in an arc around him. How come you're not catching? So why aren't you catching? Can you catch? You put this guy in a bad situation. He handled it really well.
Great.
But, I mean, it's a bad look to have that in the beginning, but to do it at a time when the guy's going to be amplified even more because he's going back to Wrigley.
And he did it, though, Jimmy. He went out there and he kicked ass and he took names. Hey, we got King James on. What up, Big James? What's
There
on your
he
mind?
is.
What's on your mind?
Lay off Brendan, man.
He's
Come on.
a good dude.
Yeah. What's going on, fellas?
What up, baby?
Yeah, man, he told me to call in. Cole told me to call about the 3 worst media members in St. Louis. I've been listening to Jim just mumble jumble all over the radio for the past hour. He's on there. He's him, Brendan Kiley, and Katie Wu, man. It's a lot more, but them 3, that's just horrible.
Yeah,
just horrible, man. It's always a complaint followed behind a compliment, And it's like it's the topic you're talking about. It's excuse or it's lies, just like the general manager.
Why so angry, though? Why so angry? Like, why would you get so mad? Why would you get so mad at Brendan Schaefer?
What did Katie Wu do?
Cheerlead.
Oh, Katie Wu is horrible.
I think she's good.
Jordan Lyles in all season. Come on, man.
I'm happy to be part of that group, actually.
Come on, Jordan Lyles. Come on, man. He's one of the worst pitchers in the majors, you know. And then you listen to Jim Hayes. Oh, they traded for Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. How are they cheap chokers? Dude, they gave up Carson Kelly, who doesn't even have a starting job, and they gave up Luke Weaver, who's been on 3 teams since that trade. What are you
Pitch
talking
well
about?
against the Cardinals.
Well, we should be happy about that, though, right? I mean, it's fair to say that.
I'm not.
Look,
we
James,
shouldn't be
you got
happy,
you
but
got
that
anger
doesn't-
issues,
that
bro.
doesn't-
But James, we know Randy Rosarena, bad deal. We know that Marcell Ozuna, really bad deal. You can also mention
No, that's a
Mozeliak
bad
had
deal.
some great ones.
I don't know if that's necessarily a great deal, man. That's a fleece, you know. I mean, I guess I give them credit for being able to pull it off, but it's not. I don't think they make that deal if they had to come off prospects. You
Great
know,
point.
they haven't. We always hear about them saying, "Oh, they wanted too much." You know, they wanted this, they wanted that. So I just don't think they make that move if teams require more. So
How about this, James? Because I want to come off that list. What if I meet you
No,
at the
can't,
food
bro,
court?
You're horrible.
What if I? What if I meet? What
At
if
the
I,
end, they're gonna hug at the end again.
What if I meet you? Listen.
I'm not
Listen,
even clout chasing
listen.
right now.
What if I
It was
meet
the
you
whole
at the food
text
court?
line.
What if I meet you at?
The whole
Let me
text
talk.
line.
Let me talk.
Pot him down.
Let me talk.
I know you. I know. Go
Pot
on.
him down.
Pot him down.
Pot him down.
Seth like, I can't. He likes me. Pot him down.
Don't get worked up,
Calm
dude. You need to
down.
calm down.
Pot him down.
Settle down.
Pot him down.
Crazy.
Pot him down.
Getting
Commercial
crazy.
break should be fun.
I'm offering you. But I can't. He likes me. I'm offering you a way through this for me and you. I will meet you at the food court. I will buy you whatever you want at Starbucks, one of those icy drinks or whatever, and then we'll shop and we'll relax. Okay, now you can.
Front next plaza don't even got a food court, so we ain't meeting. I don't know what mall we meeting at. I don't know what, and I don't need no drink. We're good, man. We're good. Hey, look, it's just my personal opinion. You stink, man. That's your job. That's all.
I just think
It
you're
doesn't make you
angry.
a bad person.
I just think you're angry.
F8.
I'm not angry. I'm not angry.
You go after Brendan Schaefer, for goodness sake.
I mean, he stinks too. Have you listened to him?
I like Brendan.
I think you want your own show.
You can like him as a person. I like Jim as a person. I don't think Jim's a bad guy. I think his baseball
There you
takes
go.
is trash.
James, I think you
That's
actually.
all.
I think you should have a podcast or a YouTube. Dead serious. I would
know.
listen.
I would listen.
I would listen.
I know.
If I had the time, I would. When I listen to people say that, oh, next year Zach Thompson will be in the rotation, and all these guys, Gordon Graceffo, these guys are horrible in AAA, man. Like, are you guys not researching this before you just speaking? Like, that's the problem that I have with these people. It's not personal. I don't have a personal.
You got to have some nuance. Can't you do other things besides throw bombs? Can't you do that?
I mean, hey, I give credit if it's a great case. I give credit. I agree with Cole on a lot of things. We talk sports all the time.
Yeah, Cole, what's
We do.
up, baby?
We do.
I agree with Charlie. I think Cam is a hell of a man. You know why? Because Cam stays in his lane. If he doesn't know something,
what's his lane?
Think about it.
What's his lane?
When it's hockey, he breaks it down.
He's a one lane. He's a one lane host.
Jim,
Natural disasters.
Jim, when you make tapes, Jim, when you have tapes, you have nothing to support why you're saying what you're saying. You said
Right,
they didn't need
right.
they didn't need pitching. They didn't need pitching. You're the
That's a
only one
lie.
that said that nonsense.
No, you're lying. Now you're lying. I said, of course they need pitching.
Okay.
They can pull the tapes.
You're
said that
you're
before the
lying.
season started.
I said they needed Quintana. They needed another.
bat,
My main
man.
concern was another bat, which I still think bites them in the butt
Exactly.
now and then.
So will you admit that you were wrong on that?
I said they needed pitching.
All right, Jim.
I did.
He did it.
I believe he
I
did
did.
say he wanted Quintana.
Yeah.
I said they need another starter.
Quintana's a fourth starter in a good rotation. All these guys are 3 and 4 and 5.
If he wasn't
man.
hurt, and he was here, he'd be one of their best starters. He was when he was here.
Team. And how is, when we say that it's roster construction, and you don't agree with that.
What?
It's roster construction. They're not number ones or twos on any elite team. On the playoff teams that you face, they're never going to be a one or two.
I agree with that.
He's a 1 or 2 in St. Louis because they have bad rotation pieces.
Listen, I believe that Flaherty will find it again. I also thought Michaelis is like a solid number 2.
Years.
If Jack is Jack.
Oh, no.
If Jack is Jack, you know how many ifs you had about this lineup and rotation, and none of it has prevailed?
Look, I also knew they weren't going to go out and spend on an arm that could blow up. That's just not something they do. I wanted Quintana back because I thought that was a move they could make, and that would give them enough arms where I thought the offense would be good, where they would win enough games. You know, like I knew they weren't going to go out and spend, for the top pitcher out there. I knew how they would do it. And I thought another Quintana would prevent someone else from being in the rotation if someone gets hurt the way it has now, where it's cost them.
Yeah, I understand, too. Look, you can get some guys, they can be bad, or they can also get hurt. But also, the Cardinals should be one of the best talent evaluators out there. They were really good at that, especially drafting, go back 10, 15 years ago. If you don't sign...
You know who was in that office, Charlie?
I know you're probably saying Jeff Luhnow. Mozeliak was here, too. Mozeliak was really good his first 10 years. We got to remember that. I understand the last 5.
I haven't seen it in recent years.
Okay, no, I agree with you. But here's my point. I think, James, you're going to agree with me. I think you're going to agree with me here. Can I just say it real quick? Steven Matz, by signing Steven Matz 2 years ago to 4 years, 44, and he hasn't been good, that means you were probably out on the guys this year. I know some of them were hurt. Nathan Eovaldi would be the best pitcher on the staff. And he was, 2 years, 26 with an option. So to act like you couldn't have got anybody, you tried to get somebody the year prior, and you got a bad guy that now you're paying in Steven Matz.
And he's in the bull.
And he's in the pen.
I think it's more so. Listen, Jim, I agree that nobody would have been mad if they signed Quintana back, right? But I think that he's a top of the line rotation guy here, not anywhere else. So that doesn't. I'm not mad that they let him walk. My point is the problems that are going on now are problems that have been building up for years. You not going consistently every year, not improving the team. You cannot make moves. I repeat this all the time. This is why I'm frustrated with the media. I don't have no personal problems with these guys, but you cannot make moves for Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. Even though Arenado's in a struggle right now, we know he'll get out of that. But you can't make those moves and then not build around those guys. You cannot do that. Either you're going to be the Tampa Bay Rays and the Baltimore Orioles and build within, or you're going to spend money. Or some teams like the Dodgers are doing both, and that's how they remain relevant. But you have to find that balance, and when that balance is not there, this is why we're here, because they year after year they never put the pieces around the cornerstone guys. They have not built.
So if I may, okay, if I may, what I said is I want Quintana back because to me you're not going to go out and spend. They're not going to do it. A number one with a huge price tag. So you're going to have a bunch of 2s and 3s, maybe if Flaherty's a 1, but you got 2s and 3s. But you got them across the board. You don't. I thought if they have Quintana, you'll have a bunch of guys who will give you a legitimate starting rotation, not the best, but legitimate. Where if the offense is good enough, they can be a good, solid, winning team. I also said I also want them to go out and get a meat eater in the middle of the order,
monster,
because while I appreciate they have a lot of young talent, and Gorman's turned into the guy that everyone hoped that he would be. Okay. If the rest of the guys don't work out, then you're gonna have some holes in the lineup, which a lineup could be dangerous. That's what I said early on. Now I also said I would buy stock in O'Neill. Well, his back issues would tell me I was wrong with that, but those were the things that I was hoping they would get a legitimate, proven bat, so that the offense doesn't languish at times because there's some holes in it, and we saw that this season from time to time. That's all. That's what I said in the beginning, and it's been the same.
I think that the outfield is damn near neck and neck with the pitching staff, man. I mean, it's if you look at elite teams, man, most of your power comes from the outfield. And, man, they don't have guys. They have Fat Man in the outfield and Burleson. He doesn't know what he's doing out there. I mean, and then he doesn't hit either consistently. So, I mean, you got between the outfield and the pitching staff, I just have a hard time, even if they get in the playoffs, man. Are we going to keep celebrating that they – I mean, this division is horrible, man. It's trash. It's a laughing stock of the MLB. So
I get you.
It's just hard.
Wasn't I the guy who said they got to get Brian Reynolds? Didn't I? Wasn't that one of my?
James, how do you feel about Kevin Slayton?
You know what? I don't really get into like his political views, but as far as like the podcast he had with Bill DeWitt, at first I was like, you know, I was thrilled because you know he was the voice for the fans, but I just feel like he went at the wrong guy. Like I feel like Bill DeWitt III. You know, he has a seat at those round tables, but like he's in charge of the business. He's putting the money, you know, into the ballpark villages and stuff like that. He's not really handling the baseball department. And then if you listen to it, he was confused on a lot of questions because I don't think he's really sitting in on every baseball meeting. That's not really his department. So I think that those conversations should have been had with John. I mean, Mazalot or Gersh or somebody like that versus Bill DeWitt III. But it was great from him voicing it, you know, as a fan, him getting how we feel on a daily basis.
Yeah, I get you on that, James. That was a good call, man. Ask real quick, Big Belly Burleson wants to know. Ask James about Drew Hoagie sandwich.
Oh, he's
back.
sucks. He's ass. He's trash. He's garbage. He's ass, man.
Hiccup is good,
He's
though.
ass.
Hiccup is good.
Hiccup has gotten it together, but you know, Drew Verhoeven sandwich is who we thought he was. So
Now tell Jim you love him. Tell
Jim you love him.
Jim you love him. Give him a hug
give
through
him a
the
hug
phone.
over the radio hug.
Oh, it's always love, man. It's no personal. Man, Jim, I don't hate you, man. I don't hate you.
I'm glad you don't.
Brother,
but I'm just saying, you don't have to, like, if you got, like, don't attack guys personally like Brendan Schaefer. It's a bad look for you. Like, we don't like when Wayno goes after John Denton. We expect more from you.
You can't compliment and give complaints. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. You can't give a compliment behind a complaint. Like, it just is what it is. It's all love, though, man.
It's all love.
Great day.
All right, buddy.
All right.
All right, King James. All right, go do your thing.
See you, James.
Appreciate it, man.
Fired up.
He's fired up, dude. He's fired
Why
up.
is Seth
Seth didn't want that
on an ending?
I know. You gotta let him defend.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you wanted to cut it. It did get a little rowdy
because it was just going back and forth.
Well, he'll let you know.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I like it. I like
We're
it.
good.
I had nothing to do with the conversation though. I let it ride. I didn't say anything.
Well, we've been going for an hour.
I didn't keep him up because I like him. By the way, I kept him up because he has something to say.
But it did hit home.
I know, but
it was a joke.
We've talked about this, Jim.
Are you okay?
We've talked about this.
Cat?
No,
all right?
I'm not allowed to joke with you. I know.
Are you good?
That's
Did
not
James
true.
hurt your feelings at all? You good though?
Do you think I like?
You need a moment.
Like, do you honestly think
You need a timeout.
You okay?
Do you honestly think like
No,
I'm
Jimmy.
impacted by that?
No, of course not. That's why we let it go. So
I don't
you guys
like it
go.
though when someone says, "Oh, you said they didn't even put." No, I did.
I know.
I'll tell you exactly. I've said it 17 times at the beginning of the year. I was wrong about Tyler O'Neill and Dakota. Okay, check. I said they need pitching, but I wanted a meat eater in the middle of the lineup, which I still think would have put them in a better position now, just based on the fact that the corner guys are getting older. My position, I've said a million times, so don't say I didn't want pitching or I thought they were going to be. They don't need any upgrading at all. That's not what I said. Don't lie. That's what I'm saying.
Hour and a half. That was a good little hour and a half right there, man.
I enjoyed it.
was
Hopefully the listeners did. You know
They
what?
did, man. The
The
text line's
listeners
blowing
are venting because
They are.
they're disappointed with the club. And everybody also, James, you know I love you. You know I love you, James. But also, James, you need to direct all the angst at the decision makers more so with the Cardinals than the media. It's not the media's fault. I would say the same thing to the Cardinals. It's a bad look. Everything's the media's fault. Oh, Wilson Contreras, that's the media's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, you asked me, I used to be a stopper. You didn't use the perfect language. Oh, soft contact. You're doing this all yourself.
I agree, man.
Cardinals, you're doing this.
Here's one.
The only shops at Frontenac where they don't have a food court.
But they have that nice
got
Mexican
something.
restaurant. I couldn't think of the name
to
of it.
Brio.
What's the Mexican restaurant right outside?
El Maguey.
No, it's right there attached to the Frontenac Mall.
Yeah, I forget.
Canyon Cafe.
That's correct.
Good guacamole.
And they also have a little nice coffee shop there. Look, we could go
hang
there.
out.
We could go there and browse. We could get, a little something to sip on, maybe a little something to nibble on as we walk around and look at the high-end stores. We could have shopping bags draped over our arms.
Let me read this before we go to break, and I'm going to do a live read, too. It's been an hour and a half. Hey, man, it is what it is. You brought the heat today. Sauce Monkey chimes in and goes, Jimmy deserves so much more respect than he gets. He's a great man, a great reporter, and a great father. When he retires, I hope the Cardinals give him a proper send-off. Thank you for your rational insight and analysis over the years, Sauce Monkey.
He's trying to retire you already.
No, that's a positive thing. That's nothing.
We give him credit.
Yeah, dude.
I don't really.
We're just saying. I mean, I just wanted
Thank
to read
you. That's
that.
very
That was
kind.
nice. That was nice.
Are
That
you
was from
okay?
our-
Hey, are you okay? Look at me. Look at me in the eyes. Are you okay?
I'm a little rattled.
Okay.
No,
He had the car issue.
I know.
He had the car
He's
issue.
working his ass
I
off, dude.
appreciate that, but I just want you to know, like, I don't really get impacted by things people say on social media or on the show, but I appreciate the support.
Yeah,
It's very
dude.
nice.
Sue
but I
chimed in.
refuse. I know it'll get a laugh out of the dais if I call someone, he's a Schmendrick. I know that'll make everyone giggle and say you should have a podcast, but I don't do it that way.
Whoa.
I'm not a name caller.
Hold on a second. That was a shot at me. Wow. You hold on. No, not the first part. No, not the first part. I don't do Schmendrick.
No, you don't.
I'm aware of Howie Kendrick. Now Schmendrick sounds like an old school term.
I don't like
Hendrick
it.
Motorsports.
Hendrick Motorsports. Very good team.
Enjoy Illinois coming up, Charlie. That's your wheelhouse.
Charlie.
Hey, I can't wait.
Jim is one of the best.
Hold on.
Oh, my bad.
At the end there,
Oh, yeah.
the Schmendrick comment, that was kind of a big picture comment. The second part of Jim's little rant was he didn't like that I said that James should have a podcast.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? So you don't think you wouldn't listen to James's podcast.
I don't generally.
would.
I don't generally like bomb throwers.
But he's funny.
It's a one-trick pony.
But he's funny.
We listened to, who was the other cat? Somebody said that they need to have a podcast together. Oh, let me go back down. Somebody said, Kwame Brown.
Yes.
I need King James and Kwame Brown, a YouTube channel now.
Yeah.
Wombat.
Kwame Brown's is successful.
We were listening. That was pretty funny, Jimmy. He was going toe-to-toe with a lot of guys.
It was hilarious.
So Jim
By
is
the
one
way-
of the best. Sue
And
from
it-
Linda.
by the way, of course, everybody comments. Everybody likes you. It's just James calls in.
Yeah.
So if James, what I'm saying is, if every day after the Cardinals game, if James put his iPhone in front of his face and did a 3-minute rant and put it on Twitter, I would watch that every day.
would
And I bet
I.
you it'd be funny.
I know, but no offense. I could do it the same thing as a parody because I think that's
Yeah.
sort of a parody. But that's real.
But I like the
and
passion.
I don't like that it spills over where he's like, who's going to attack Brent? I saw it, and I was like, I go, that's my guy, King James. Attacking Brendan. Don't do that.
Okay.
Attack me.
And I just said
I was
that.
gonna if I had seen it in timely fashion, I would have said, I'll take the bullet for Brendan. I'm awful.
He's a big boy.
These guys
though.
are
He's
all
gonna-
fine. Everybody
He'll be
gets
okay.
ripped
He ain't a
on
child.
on social media. My point is, I actually think James's baseball takes are accurate. He shouldn't go after the media. Some of it I think is for fun, but I think his baseball takes are pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, I do. I
He
enjoy
said,
it.
listen, I think I got attacked when I said the reason why they're sticking with Hicks is because his stuff when he's right is elite. I mean, as good as anyone in baseball. And his stuff is terrible. The reason why they're sticking with Kisner, okay, is because the pitchers really like him and they think he can be serviceable offensively off the bench. That's why. And prisoner of the moment guy, he's terrible. He'll never be good. That to me, when you do that, and it's easy, and you put, but you have to play the long game a little bit. Like you have to realize maybe there's something to that.